Hey, this is Crystal's Clarity Podcast, where there's always another way to see it. And I'm Crystal, your host, where we grow and we also keep it real. But before we do that, I got to introduce y'all to my girl, Lou. Hey.
Hey, honey. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad you're here.
Of course. You know, I'm always going to show up for you, honey.
You already know. You already know. So today, the title, what are we talking about? Plans on plans. And they did anything yet. Let's get into it. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
But before we do that, I know that that's really, really fun. But before we do that, right, let's talk more about who you are, the space that you're in, and why you're like one of the most qualified people to probably talk about this.
Okay, sure. Why not? So, hi, everybody. I'm Lauria Mussington. I'm a licensed master social worker, practicing therapist, and mental health advocate. I'm very passionate about providing healing spaces for individuals and reminding them of their power after traumatic experiences.
Dope. Y'all see why I got her here today? So if not anything else, definitely having her here to talk about planning. I know, like myself and probably you sat on a lot of plans, a lot of checklists, and still ain't done nothing. Not a damn thing done. You been there?
It happens 1,000%.
I got a checklist right now. But I am checking things off the list, and this is definitely one of them. And so what I would like to do is just to discuss some of the things that you have, or the situations you've been in where you found yourself over planning, and kind of like the reasons that you found yourself over planning.
You know, there's always the situation of wanting to see the best light in whatever you do come out. So there's a lot of anxiety that goes into it. So sometimes I would catch myself like making a list and then, you know, starting, but then I'll start to go on the computer and go shopping on Walmart, or maybe I'll go, you know, go clean up my room or whatnot, and completely deviate from what I actually wrote. So, you know, and it's because I'm avoiding. I'm avoiding actually, you know, colliding with or just knowing what might happen if I actually finish it. And I know it's, you know, you always have the best outlook for yourself. Right. But sometimes, you know, you just get avoidant. You get overwhelmed by the fact that, damn, there's a lot to be put in this, and it's more easier to just fold the clothes and the laundry, even though we always got that pile of clothes.
I got one right now, literally. I'm not even playing. No, but definitely I understand that. And for me, it's more so perfectionism. Like, I will sit there and write out all the plans, and I'm like, nope, I don't like it. Nope, I don't like it. Nope, I don't like it. And I will do that. I'm not going to lie. I literally have about 10 to 15 notebooks. Yeah. No lie. And so this is actually one of the reasons why I decided to do this portion of it. It had to be done. And so that's a lot of what we'll be talking about today. Just those big tips that can help you to just stop overthinking it. Because that's honestly a lot of what it is, just overthinking. Also that fear of failure. There's that lack of confidence. You know, and it will put you in a freeze mode, and that's not where you want to be. So what about you? So what about your clients? Like, what have been some of the most aggravating points or some of the pain points that they've had when it comes to over planning? Like, what does that look like?
You know what? Instead of even using a client, I want to use the experience of us even being here today.
Right.
Actually, getting to Crystal's Clarity Podcast.
Making it real, right?
Man, you used to come over by my house and just, you know, talk about and list out what you wanted, from like the books on the table to what we saying. We were on computers, on the couch, sitting side by side, like acting out a podcast and stuff like that. And, you know, time went by, you know what I mean? And you told me you didn't get it yet, or you didn't do this yet, you know what I mean? And, you know, and what you used to tell me was like, you know, I just want to get it right. You know, that perfectionism that comes out. So I hear a lot of that when I work with clients in regards to, I just want it right. But also there's fear as well that, you know, I see that people experience from just imagining like the outcome of all of it and the overwhelming, as well as if you're a mom, you know what I mean, you're a teacher, your father, you know what I mean, you have children to also take care of and whatnot, plus come from work, cook. If I list, I'm gonna get exhausted.
Right. I did not do nothing.
And did not do nothing. After you list it, you just do not do anything. You know what I mean? So yes. Exactly. That's the situation.
I love that you put me out there, right?
Sorry.
But that's what it's about. That's the only way someone can learn is by your own experience, and this is one of those things. Honestly, like putting myself out there, deciding that you're going to do something different, right? A big part of what I realized also is making a decision versus choices, and so I find that's another thing. Most people are making choices, and that's also what makes you fall back. I got something to choose from, and in reality, no, you don't. Like you have nothing to choose from. Like you literally only have a decision to make and cut off everything else. And so that's what this looks like. You are literally seeing a visual representation of making a decision and no longer sitting in a notebook and watching things go by. So that was a lot already, but there's more. So this segment is called Crystal, Am I Tripping? And this is where some of my followers or friends give me just some things that they've been through and just want to know, like, am I tripping? And that's what we're going to do. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So Tiana, hey girl, thank you. She said, so I've been going to therapy faithfully, healing, crying, doing inner child work, the whole journey. I casually told my best friend about my therapist once. Didn't even think she'd go. Fast forward, she secretly books sessions with my therapist and never tells me. But now she's out here quoting phrases I know came from my sessions. The kicker? Sis posts a reel talking about how she's cutting off dead weight to protect her peace, tags my therapist, and I'm not in the video, but I am the energy. So now I'm asking, did she colonize my healing journey? Crystal, am I tripping?
What?
I didn't know you could colonize somebody's healing journey,
right?
but
super inappropriate though.
Right.
Like, what? Okay. So break it down for me one more time. So
she has a therapist. She told her friend she didn't think she would go, but she went. But now she's quoting phrases that she feels comes from her journey herself. So I also feel like maybe she feels like she's telling her things since she's friends. So, but how does that work as a therapist? You're a therapist, so how does that work?
You can't do that. Your therapist isn't supposed to share information from one session to another.
So she trifling.
And hopefully not. We're gonna put out there that therapists don't do that. Hopefully, God willing. Okay. And hopefully, in a situation like this, she's not communicating to her therapist like, hey, I got a friend coming to you tomorrow. You know what I mean? Her name is XYZ. And then she shows up and now the therapist got to link the two. So I'm hoping, she's just really doing this for the gram.
But she tagged the therapist. So it's giving trifling.
That's also too very inappropriate. Therapists got to live their lives too.
Wait, so can you be friends with therapists on social media? Like, how does that?
I don't think that's appropriate as well.
Okay.
You don't. You want as a therapist, you are able to say hi in public and whatnot, but you want to keep that separate because there's other people in your life that you're connected with as well. Right. That you may know that may be collateral, but you don't want that connection.
Right. So I feel like I feel like she is tripping to some extent because I feel like there's no real way to colonize a healing journey, but unless you feel like there are strays or bullets coming your way and she's trying to hide her hand, then yes. But I feel like maybe she's going through some things that you didn't even know about and maybe you're taking them personally. So I'm not going to fully say you tripping, but you could be.
You could be. You know what I mean? I totally agree with you.
That's where I'm at with it. Back into this planning, right? Planning, right? What I want to talk about now is the benefits. And that's something that I've had to really wrap my head around and begin to sell myself on the payoff of doing what you're supposed to do. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned, it was something that Eric Thomas said, and he talked about how you never know whose breakthrough is attached to you doing what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And every moment that you take where you're not doing it is another moment where that person doesn't get their breakthrough. And I really, really grabbed a hold of that because technically I've been listening to him for years, and that's literally why I got started. And it's a part of the reason why I realized, like, Crystal, you know, you sitting on some stuff, and there's people that's been telling you throughout your lifetime, like, dang, you just said that a different way. I wasn't even thinking about it like that. Mm-hmm. You just gave me another way to see it, you know, hence the name. You just gave me another way to see it. And so that's clarity. Why I decided to make a move. So what does that look like for you when you think about selling yourself on a payoff?
And I think about stepping into my light. If I could just ensure that I get some momentum, just doing that one thing off the to-do list, it reminds me, man, I could do the next thing and the next thing and see the payoff. So the momentum starts and you could continue going. So that's what's selling me on completing the whole task. And I look back, wow, I'm further than I expected on my to-do list. So, you know what I mean? Showing myself that I can show up for myself.
It builds that confidence. Mm-hmm. That's another benefit of making sure that I found for myself when I've done what I'm supposed to do, the more that I do it, even with this today, you just continue to build your confidence, and you don't realize sometimes that you yourself are part of the reason why your confidence is low, which will be a whole different episode. Mm-hmm. But the more that you do it, the more you show that you can trust yourself with what you say that you're going to do when you actually do it. So that's something that I've been big on as far as that benefit. And then also just stepping outside of fear. And courage is something that's big for me now too. Courage is not saying that you ain't scared, because listen, I got 1,000 things going on in my brain right now, right? But it's just deciding that confidence and fear is just going to exist in the same room right now. That's what courage,
I agree.
That's what courage looks like. And that's also the benefit of just taking that step. And again, one of the biggest things that I've seen, again, is just more so thinking about who's going to be impacted when you make that decision.
Correct.
And who's losing out right now because you haven't made that decision. And that's kind of where I am with it when it comes to stop thinking it. Like, stop overthinking it. Just get going.
If I can add also too, in regards to, like, sometimes we get in this mode, like, back to perfection. But going on social media is one of the biggest distractions, our phone. And we could end up scrolling, seeing people doing the same thing that we want to do, and comparing and contrasting, and kind of developing this mode where you get into a freeze. Right. You get into this freeze, like, no, I want this microphone. Right. I want this outfit. I want these heels when I walk on. Who's going to do my makeup? And ain't even developed the topic yet, right? Ain't even
all the wrong things. All the wrong
but you're on Instagram scrolling, and you know there's nothing wrong in getting inspiration from others, you know, but you have to move forward with your idea, put it into existence, and like make it come to fruition, kind of like what you're doing here today, which I'm very, very proud of you.
Yes. And along with that, right? So yes, we can talk about the benefits. Yes, we can talk about what it is and why not and why this, right? The big part is just, how do I do that, right? And so one of them, again, I'm going to drive home, is making a decision. No more choices. We're not choosing from anything else. We're going to make a decision. So even if you have a list, right, and you have all these things that you've decided to do, just pick one and do it. That's it. Just literally that simple. Pick one and do it, and then give yourself a small win afterwards. Now, that's one that I would think of. Like, what comes to mind for you when you think about how someone can just do it?
I mean,
execute.
I mean, if we're talking about practical ways, I mean, you know, use your electronics, you know, set an alarm, put it on a calendar. People have their calendars to set up their life sometimes. If that works best for you, great. Post-it, sticky notes. I used to use that a lot at work when I did case management at the hospital. I used to put sticky notes in a line, and then also to color coordinate it in regards to red means hot on fire. I need to remove it.
Get it done now.
Get it done now kind of thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes a simple pencil and paper and sticking it on the mirror. So it's a constant reminder. Every time you look at yourself, you're looking at also to the list that is you know what I mean, that you have to do. So, and just the reward in that, you know, like you said, like rewarding yourself, celebrating with, you know, some coffee, wine,
cheers,
cookies,
exactly,
whatever, ice cream, a dance, something, you know what I mean?
That looks
Choose
like
your top 10 and then, like, you know what? I celebrate you. Walk into it genuinely.
I would say one other thing that I find for myself is that you have to also stop talking about it sometimes, because there is study behind that shows the more you talk about something, the less likely you are to do it. And I have definitely been there. And sometimes you don't realize that you tricked your brain into the energy that you think that you've exerted to get it done, and you've done nothing.
No, nothing.
And so I find for myself, the less I talk about it, unless it's with the people that are actually going to help me execute it, I get it done. Hence where we are. I knew, right, talking to my friend, that if I brought it to him, y'all don't see him, but he here. I knew that if I told him, he was going to be on me about making sure that I got it done. And so that's also too something to consider, having support system that's going to hold you accountable.
Agreed.
Right. So even with my friend, though I've brought her things, she definitely still was like, so when are you going to do it? I thought you dropped me off. I thought you wrote me off that you weren't going to do it. So
my word,
you have to literally have people around you that's going to hold you accountable. And even my sister, you know, she uses this phrase of being extreme to make sure you get things done. For legal reasons, I won't say what she said, but but seriously, having friends and family around that will hold you accountable to make sure that you get it done. And just to bring it full circle, right? After you've made that decision, pat yourself on the back, right? Give yourself that much to say, you know what, you got it done. I don't care if you was just supposed to get up and walk around your neighborhood for 10 minutes. You got it done. That's what I want you to do. And so with that being said, I want you to just cheers to yourself, because that's what we're about to do. All right, y'all. So next, what we're doing, we're going to be cheering, right? And like I talked about those small wins, this is a small win. Well, I ain't gonna say small. This is big, right? Big.
Real big.
Big, right? So this will be cheering to things that you have accomplished, right? Whether that's today, yesterday, for the month, for the week, whatever that looks like, that's what I want you to do. So that's what we're about to do. So I got some a little special, the stash, right? Got a little wine. That's what I like.
Okay,
so,
I see you.
Before we do that, I just got to pour us up a little bit here. Authenticity, right?
Go on ahead.
Like that.
Go on ahead.
I should make you pour your own trouble.
Top your girl off.
I got you.
I appreciate you.
All right.
And it's sweet. Just like you.
Oh, girl, don't make me cry. Hey. And we've poured the wine already, so we're not. All right. Cheers. First, I want you to go, right? I want you to tell me something that you felt you won this week with, or this month, whatever that looks like for you, and tell me why it's important and why you want to celebrate it right now.
I want to cheers to coordinating and facilitating my first peer support group and providing a healing, safe space for the individuals I take care of or I see on a regular and have contact with. And I feel like it's important to celebrate this because just like you said, you know, somebody's waiting for you to provide the gift that God has blessed you with. And I have a gift, and it's been so long since like I needed to pull this trigger. So, and even though I was encouraged and pushed, I did it. So cheers.
Congrats, boo. I love it.
Yeah.
How you like that?
Real sweet. Real sweet.
It's a go-to. I like a little kick. But so for me, right, my win is being here today. And I've been sitting on this for a while, and I finally got it done. And I'm able to get it done with some of the people that I love the most, right? I still love my people that ain't here. But definitely my friend that is sitting with me here and my friends that you guys can't see. This is definitely a win for me. And I just want to cheers myself to making sure that I got it done. And that's why I'm here. Don't break it, don't break it. Hey.
I want to second that, Crystal. I'm very proud of you. I'm happy to be here in this chair with you, this idea that you've been developing, sitting on, and even being with you in spaces where you were even doing, remember when you were doing your vision boards?
Still got those coming.
1,000%. You know, like you put that into work, and now it's in fruition, and now you're doing this. I'm really proud of you. And
Thank you.
like, please, I look forward to more episodes and how big this is going to be. So
thank you.
Congratulations.
And to that same point, right, I definitely want to thank you for being here. I have a special gift for you. I don't have it in my hands right now, but I will have it for you. Right. So again, just to say thank you for just always supporting me, for one, for almost 6 years. How long, 8 years, girl. Yeah. But 6 years that you've been supporting since I started, and you've always made sure to give me encouraging words. You've always made sure to support as much as you could. So that's why this episode, with it being the first one, is as special as it is, because I have you here to celebrate with me. One more clink.
Cling.
But before we end, so what's one last thing that you would like to leave the people with, but also where they can find you, how they can follow you, and what does that look like?
Okay, so, well, you guys could email me if you need me on intelwellness.net, but also, too, you could always message Crystal here if you ever want to know a little bit more about me and talk to me. In regards to the message I want to leave you guys is that we were all birthed with a gift, with a light. And I encourage you to please take the step towards making that light brighter and brighter and brighter. Because you are unique in your own way. And everybody deserves, even for yourself, to be reaffirmed by your presence and your gift that you want to give the people in the world that you meet every day. So
I love it. Well, don't let this be the last time you stop by.
It will not be. Thanks.
You don't have a choice.
No,
thank you. Thank you so much for dropping in on the Crystal's Clarity podcast.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Can't wait to have you again. So I want to make this crystal clear as much as possible. We talked all about planning and not executing, and we want to change that today. And I've been in your shoes, and I understand what it's like to have, again, all those lists and check marks and check boxes, and nothing is checked off, right? And that's okay in a sense. But it's not okay if you know that you want to be somewhere else, right? And sometimes it does take that encouragement. It does take doing those things that we talked about as far as executing, holding yourself accountable by having those people around you, and also just having that courage. And that courage is not always easy, especially by yourself. So having tools such as friends, family, and even when it comes to just motivation and encouragement can definitely help build that. So today I challenge you to just take that leap. Make a decision, no more choices. Take that leap. And if you need that extra push, that daily push, I want you to join my text list. I send out text messages about 3 to 4 times a week just to give you that extra push in the morning, because we all know getting up in the morning alone can be a task in itself, but I definitely want to make sure I send that to you every morning. And if you scan the QR code, you'll be added to my text list, and I'll go ahead and make sure you get that encouragement every morning. But other than that, I just want to thank you for joining Crystal's Clarity podcast, where there's always another way to see it, and I'll see you next time.